Hi. What's up, Dragon? We missed you. Ah.
I just read and read and read.
Wait 1 second. My audio's messed up on my end. Okay, let me know if you can't hear it.
Probably read 5 to 6 hours a day. I don't read as fast now as when I was younger, but I read 5 daily newspapers. I read a fair number of magazines. I read 10Ks. I read annual reports, and I read a lot of other things too. So I've always enjoyed reading. I love reading biographies.
How can other people tap dance to work? What's the secret of that?
You find your passion. You find your passion. I was very, very lucky to find it, when I was 7 or 8 years old, and fortunately my children have found their passion. One son loves farming like nothing else. One son loves music like everything else, and all 3 of them love philanthropy and what they get to do. You're lucky in life when you find it, and you can't guarantee you're going to find it in your first job out. But I always tell college students that come out, I say, take the job that you would take if you were independently wealthy. You're going to do well at it. The most important thing is to be able to define which ones you can come to an intelligent decision on and which ones are beyond your capacity to evaluate. You don't have to be right about thousands and thousands and thousands of companies. You only have to be right about a couple. I don't have to understand all kinds of business. There's all kinds of business I don't understand, but there's thousands of opportunities there. I did understand the Bank of America, and I'm able to do that. If you think you're going to be a lot happier if you've got 2X instead of X, you're probably making a mistake. I mean, you ought to find something you like that works with that, and you'll get in trouble if you think that making 10X or 20X is the answer to everything in life, because then you will do things like borrow money when you shouldn't, or maybe cut corners on things that your employer wants you to cut corners on. Ted Williams wrote a book called The Science of Hitting. And in The Science of Hitting, he's got a diagram, shows him at the plate, and he's got the strike zone divided into 77 squares, each the size of a baseball. And he says, if I only swing at pitches in my sweet zone, which he shows there, and he has what his batting average would be, which is 400. If he had to swing at low outside pitches, but still in the strike zone, his average would be 230. He said the most important thing in hitting is waiting for the right pitch. In investing, there's no called strikes. People can throw Microsoft at me, and you name it, any stock, General Motors, and I don't have to swing. And nobody's going to call me out on called strikes. I only get a strike called if I swing at a pitch and miss. So I can wait there and look at thousands of companies day after day, and only when I see something I understand and when I like the price at which it's selling, then if I swing, if I hit it, fine. If I miss it, it's a strike. But it's an enormously advantageous game. And it's a terrible mistake to think you have to have an opinion on everything. You only have to have an opinion on a few things. In fact, I've told students, if when they got out of school, they got a punch card with 20 punches on it, and that's all the investment decisions they got to make in their entire life, they would get very rich, because they would think very hard about each one. And you don't need 20 right decisions to get very rich. 4 or 5 will probably do it over time. So I don't worry too much about the things I don't understand. There's a whole bunch of things I don't know a thing about. I just stay away from those. Tom Watson said it best. He said, he said, I'm no genius, but I'm smart in spots, and I stay around those spots. Well, I try and stay around those spots, and I just don't have a problem if somebody says, you're wrong on something. I go back and look at the facts. I think that really is much more important, frankly, than having a few points of IQ or having an extra course or two in school or anything of the sort. You need emotional stability.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule, and that's all the rules there are. I mean, if you buy things for far below what they're worth and you buy a group of them, you basically don't lose money.
Biggest mistakes people make when investing?
Well, they try to... They just don't realize that all you have to do is just buy a cross-section of America and then never listen to people like me or read the papers or do anything subsequently. They think that because you can trade, you should trade. You buy a farm, you buy an apartment house, you can't resell it tomorrow. The cost of moving around. Now you get something handed to you, liquidity, which is instant. You can sell, and the cost of doing it are pennies, compared to other kinds of investment activity. So because they can so easily move around. They do move around, and moving around is not smarter than investing.
Warren, what do you consider the most important quality for an investment manager?
It's a temperamental quality, not an intellectual quality. You don't need tons of IQ in this business. I mean, you have to have enough IQ to get from here to downtown Omaha, but you do not have to be able to play three-dimensional chess or be in the top leagues in terms of bridge playing or something of the sort. You need a stable personality. You need a temperament that neither derives great pleasure from being with the crowd or against the crowd, because this is not a business where you take polls. It's a business where you think. And Ben Graham would say that you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people agree with you. And you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people disagree with you. You're right because your facts and your reasoning are right.
I've said many times that if you get to be...
Have you considered going solar in Illinois but afraid of the huge price tag attached? Most people don't know this, but almost
65 or 70 and later, and the people that you want to have love you actually do love you, you're a success. I've never seen anybody that reaches that age. I mean, I'm not talking about somebody that's in extreme poverty or pain or something, but I've never seen anybody that, if they have a lot of people that love them, that is other than happy. And I've seen some very, very wealthy people that they give testimonial dinners to and name schools after and everything. Nobody loves them, you know.
The real test of whether you're investing from a value standpoint or not is whether you care whether the stock market is open tomorrow. If you're making a good investment in a security, it shouldn't bother you if they close down the stock market for 5 years. All the ticker tells me is the price. And I can look at the price occasionally to see whether the price is outlandishly cheap or outlandishly high. But prices don't tell me anything about a business. Business figures themselves tell me something about a business, but the price of a stock doesn't tell me anything about a business. I would rather value a stock or a business first and not even know the price, so that I'm not influenced by the price in establishing my valuation, and then look at the price later to see whether it's way out of line with what my value is.
What are, say, 3 pieces of advice you would give to people who are looking to succeed in business?
Well, by far the best investment you can make is in yourself. I mean, for example, communication skills. I tell the students that come that they're going to graduate schools and business, and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, both in writing and in person, they increase their value at least 50%. I mean, if you can't communicate, somebody says, you know, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens, you know, basically. And you have to be able to get forth your ideas. It's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you.
Are you comfortable today with what you're giving? I mean, does it feel...
It's exactly what I want to do.
Does it feel like the right thing to be doing right now?
It's the right thing because it's going to people who believe, as the Gates, for example, that every life is of equal value. I mean, the truth is, I've got a lot of wealth, little pieces of paper with Berkshire Hathaway on it. They're claim checks on all kinds of goods and services in the world. They can buy anything. I can buy 400-foot yachts and have 20 homes and all that. I wouldn't be happier, but they can buy anything. And once they move into the hands of people who are working like hell on getting something accomplished in areas I want them to, you know, I love the idea of getting amused, and that's what they're doing. 3 things in hiring people: look for integrity, intelligence, and energy. If that person didn't have the first 2, that the latter 2 would kill them. Because if they don't have integrity, you want them dumb and lazy. You don't want them smart and energetic. Well, I think I stay healthy partly by being happy, actually. I think I think it really helps if your stomach isn't grinding all the time and you're doing things that you don't want to do, or you're working with people that, you know. So I've gone very light on the diet advice. I eat like a normal 6-year-old, but if you look at the mortality statistics, I mean, 6-year-olds don't die very often. I mean, that diet's doing something for them. If I gave you a car, and it'd be the only car you get the rest of your life, you'd take care of it like you can't believe. Any scratch, you'd fix that moment. You'd read the owner's manual. You'd keep a garage and do all these things. And you get exactly one mind and one body in this world. And you can't start taking care of it when you're 50. By that time, you'll have rusted out if you haven't done anything. So you should really make sure that you just remember that you just got one mind and body to get through life with and to do the most with it.
What does make Warren Buffett happy?
I just have a lot of fun doing my job. I mean, I can do anything I want, basically. long as it doesn't involve athletic ability or anything like that. But if it's something I can buy, I can buy anything basically. I've been on 400-foot yachts, and I've lived the life a little bit with people that have 10 homes and everything. And I live in the same house I bought in 1958. And if I could spend $100 million on a house and make me a lot happier, I'd do it. But for me, that's the happiest house in the world. And it's because it's got memories and people come back and all that sort of thing. So I am doing what I love to do with people I love. And it doesn't get any better than that, Judy. But I should be. I mean, why in the hell should I be working at 86 at something that I don't like or with people I don't like? The most important thing is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with. And you want to have the right heroes. You want people, if you want to emulate somebody, you better pick very carefully who you want to emulate. And when, obviously, you can't pick your parents. They're going to have an enormous influence on you, but you don't get a choice on that. But you get choices as you go down the line, and who you admire, who you want to copy, and the most important for most people in terms of that decision is their spouse. It's also important in terms of a partner in business, but the partner in life is the most important one. You want to pick a spouse that's better than you are, and then he or she, and you hope they don't figure it out too fast. Capitalism's all about somebody coming and trying to take the castle. Now, what you need is a castle that has some durable competitive advantage, some castle that has a moat around it.
So what's the secret?
The secret is to find what you love to do. I mean, I tell the students, look for the job that you would take if you didn't need a job. I mean, that's that simple. And I was lucky enough to find it very early in life. And then the second thing is to have people around you that make you feel good every day and make you a better person than you otherwise would be. I have more fun doing this than anything else I can think of in the world, and I've seen a lot of other things you could do in the world. If you asked me to trade away a very significant percentage of my net worth, either for some extra years or being able to do during those years what I want to do, I'd do it in a second.
The secret to have a happy life is to find what you love to do and to invest in yourself. Be successful. Very powerful words.
I love the video. It was very nice.
Very nice video. Very good motivational video. It's great. It's great for today. We got wiped out today, right? We're back to buys back to what is it at after hours? 398, 398, 397. All of our hard work got wiped out. So if you're invested in this market, you probably shouldn't be. You should be trading it in and out. So let's talk about some charts. Let's talk about best practices. Let's talk about any questions you guys have that you're struggling with, maybe things that you're struggling with. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about the markets. What do you guys feel? If you guys have any advice for us, like I said, my eyes are just 2. But when I have all you guys in here, we can multiply our eyes, and we know a lot more than what one person might know. So it's about sharing and communicating. You heard Warren Buffett, right? He said communication skills. That's very important to have. Got to communicate. We are a family in here. And when we communicate with each other, we can be a lot more stronger and we will win. So, let's talk about stocks. Let's talk about, how's things going for you guys. We're in March now. We have 2 months gone. Are you guys making money? Are you guys losing money? If you're losing money, what is it that you're doing wrong? Let's change our habits, change our mindset, and see what's happening. We're going to lose. Everyone's going to lose. I lose money, almost daily, sometimes a couple of trades a day. But I'm not going to sit there and be all sad about it. I'm going to try to figure out a way to make it back. Okay? So let's talk about that. So I'm going to open it up and let me know how's everyone doing? Tell us, what's going on, and how we can improve as a group, as a trading community. and I'll shut up.
What'd you guys trade today? I've been making money this year so far. So.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. You've been doing all those penny stocks, right? In and out, trading it. Those some of those penny runs have been great. I mean, I'm looking at like 200 runs. That one stock that before it went into the OTC, LD, what is it? LDX, whatever it was. That
LDHX.
was yeah, that went from like 15 cents to like a dollar something. I sold way too early. I sold it in and out. 4 days. That's a crazy return.
I made some money with Unsi, which is one of the ones I've been mentioning since yesterday, and
Yep.
I still feel like it's a great stock to trade.
Uh-huh.
Um, I I feel like it can still run. It could probably try to test the height from today,
Right. They
tomorrow.
had news too, right? That's why it started running.
I believe they had news yesterday. I just don't recall what it was exactly, but it's
Hmm.
a low float, and it it just moves nicely, and it's holding like the key level. So
That's awesome.
I still like it. So you might want to keep it in your watch list.
Yeah, let's pull up some charts. Stocks only.
Give me a chart.
Um,
UNCY.
there you go.
I'm not signed in on this, so it doesn't have any of my anything. What the fuck? Where's all the things?
I don't know.
They're like missing. Oh, okay.
Probably because you're not signed in.
Yeah, it is because I'm not signed in. I'm just trying to skip that. Oops.
And if you guys don't know how to set up your charts and stuff, Stocks Only can help you. He's really great with this stuff. I can help you. Make sure you put I usually have 3 MAs, which is your moving day averages. I always look at the 200, the 50, and the 20-day, along with my 9 EMA with my WeWap. Those are things that you want to have in your charts. Stocks Only likes to put the boiler bands in, which shows you the tightness.
I love the Bollinger Bands. Love them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my money was made because I have the Bollinger Bands on.
Yep. And, whatever works for you. There's so many different studies out here that you could add to your charts. And you got to find what's best for you and what works for you. I like less on my charts, the better it is for me because too many things confuse me. So, as a momentum trader who's trading, especially like SPY, and I'm looking at SPY, I'm looking at futures, I'm looking at, QQQ. I'm looking at all of these things. I'm looking at SPX, all of those things, it moves very fast. So what works best for me is the less time moving average, which is the 9-day, the 9 EMA. And then I use the 20, the 50, and the 200 to see the bounce levels. Okay. So everyone has their own techniques. And I'm telling you, if you guys really, really want to learn charting and have levels, there's several people in RST that are really great at this. Kelsey, she's amazing with charting. I learned a lot of my charting from her. Bentley is another one. He's really great. He has He has educational videos on how to find key levels. You know, it's very easy to find key levels once you watch his video. It's only like 45 minutes. And then once you watch it, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
I
You
I
know?
I think finding key levels is the easiest thing for me, just because it's I don't know. You just look at this tool, the magnetic line, really helps. I mean, look, this was the first time I've looked at this chart ever. I just drew some levels. I don't like
And
the
look at them.
colors.
They're accurate. Yep.
Just based on like where the candles coagulate. You know what I mean? Like it's simple.
To
It's
find
really,
to
really, really
find
simple to find levels.
to find key levels, you got to go back in time. You got to go back in time. You got to go to longer time frames. You know, probably the dailies, and you got to find out, like, look back and see where the stock broke out. Where
Now look at
where.
this. This stock's going down tomorrow
Yep.
because look how overbought it is. These
Yep.
the Bollinger Bands tell you when something is overbought or oversold. So that's why when it spikes here, people sell it. It goes down, people buy it off the 20 and the 9, spikes back over the bands, and they fucking sell it. It happens every time. It goes under the bands and they buy it.
And it's not just with like these penny stocks; it's with ETFs too. It always bounces.
Yep.
And then the WEWAP is the scale. So imagine a scale. You got one side bulls, one side bears. The bulls are buying, the bears are selling. Okay. So if you have a WEWAP and you have the 9 EMA and the 9 EMA is above the VWAP, that means the 9 EMA shows you the money that's coming in, the moving average, right? It's momentum trading. So you know that the bulls are winning because they're above the VWAP. If it's testing the VWAP, that means it's coming back down, it's testing that level, and you want to make sure that they're not selling off. The bulls are not selling off, because if they are, then the bears are going to come in. And they're selling as well. They're short selling. So you got to pay attention. It moves fast, whether it's ETFs or whether you're trading in and out, you know?
Also, like, if you see a move and it doesn't make sense to you on the chart that you're on, like I was looking at NVOS on the 5-minute chart, and it drops under the 200 for the first time since it started being bullish. So you think right here could be the sign for everybody to start selling because the chart broke. But if you zoom out to it spends all day kind of under the 5. If you zoom out to the 10, it touched that 200 perfectly. It never went under it. So those people are trading on a higher time frame, and the chart is not broken yet. That's why,
it looks
that's
like
why it went back up.
It formed a double low and a double high twice.
Here's some key levels for it, just because.
Right there.
I'm just
It's the same pattern right there, the 2 times right there. Boom, boom.
Right here. Can't seem to break this 24 level and hold it. That's the strong resistance, and the strong support is 19.
People are taking profits right there.
Today I traded TRKA.
And it also might, and the MMs might also have walls at 24, massive walls where they're trying not to let this go through.
We bought this yesterday. Lori and I bought this yesterday, right here for about 56 cents, and then because it was under our Bollingers, and then we traded it all day. We sold here, we bought back right here, we sold here, and then we held. And then this morning we sold some here, and then it started falling, and when it broke this 200, we were out. And then look at it, all day it tanked. And I made my money on that shit, but it's a garbage. Look at that.
Yeah.
It went to 26 cents, and that's crazy. But made my money on it. I didn't make as much money because I should have sold all right here, but I got greedy. I knew that $1 it wasn't going to break $1, and I was like, maybe I'll try it again, and we held down through this. We should have sold all of it right here and been out, knowing what was going on with the Fed and everything.
And if you have greed problems or you don't know when to take profits, you need to set a stop loss. A trailing stop loss will save you. It will cut you out.
Knowing your key levels will help you set your stop losses.
Yeah,
if you know your key levels, then you know what you don't want it to break. You say, oh, look, if it breaks under 60, I'm out. That was a lot of people. So right here, it dropped and it bought, but as soon as it broke under 60, people were out. Now it can't get back over 60. And as soon as people realize on this second little run up, it's not getting over 60, they start selling. And at the end of the day, these people are the hopefuls, and then they fucking lost hope and sold everything. That's all it is. You just know your key levels, and that's how you set your stop losses. Even if you don't want to set a stop loss, set a mental stop. Say, okay, if it drops under 60, I'm out. But only do that if you can trust yourself to follow your own fucking rules. Otherwise, you're gonna keep holding and lose all your money.
Yep. I think that's one of the
And
things
don't take
that I have to improve now that I'm getting back in.
my biggest
Um,
problem was chasing stocks. Like I always used to chase stocks and get stuck in the middle, like and hope to God that it goes back up.
Mm-hmm.
If something breaks news and you're not in within the first 60 seconds of that news break, don't chase it. Wait for a pullback. All stocks are going to come back down. Don't get FOMO. It's hard. It's harder to. It's easier to say than done because we all do it, right? We don't want to miss out.
It comes down to how much money you want to earn for the day, and you think, oh, if I miss this, I'm not hitting my goal, and you start getting antsy, and you want to find something to hit your goal, but sometimes you're not going to hit it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's best to just
The best thing
protect
to
your
do
money.
is get in early. Remember, guys, there's no winners in this game. It's a game of survivors. Okay, when I sell my stock, someone is losing. When
Right.
we all sell our stock, when we all sell our trades for profit, someone's taking a hit. Always keep that in mind. So get in early. If you got to do the research and find these small caps that are going to have catalysts coming up. I used to do that in 2020. That's all we did, right? We sat here, we did DD, we found catalysts. I got away from that because I started trading SPY. It's much easier for me because it's like, okay, but with SPY, you got to do research as well. You got to know what's going on. You got to know who's speaking at what time, because that's a whole nother game. You got to know the Fed events. You got to know, the data reports that are coming out daily. How is that going to impact this bear rally that we have going on, this bear market? Is it going to rally? Is it going to sell off? Why were stocks selling off today? Most of it's due to fear of inflation, fear of recession. All of this is happening right now. They are trying to tank us. They are trying to take us into a recession. They're having a hard time because our labor markets are strong. Americans are resilient people. People are getting 2 jobs now. Our deficit has hit its ultimate highs. Our deficit, it's in the trillions. Like it's crazy. And then you have to look at the global economy because everyone depends on America, Europe. They all depend on us. Look at Europe, what's going on there? Look at all these other parts of the world. So you got to pay attention. I mean, it's nonstop research. And we're not economists. We're not, some of us didn't go to school for finance. We're just learning as we go along. It's not something that you need to go to school for and spend years of studying this stuff. You can learn it on your own. You just have to do the work. And you have to wake up and show up and learn and see what's happening, um, that's it. That's all you got to do. And it's nonstop. I know there's people in here that do it every day, and you guys are doing well. I know Jen, Ryan, you guys are constantly studying the market. They're always sending me stuff. They're always like, hey, Shar, what do you think about this? Jen is the one who called AMD. She said, Shar, can you please look at AMD? She told me this on Saturday. I said, sure, I'll get some charts up. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, look, it has a gap to fill to 85 because it's been shorted because of NVDA. NVDA, they did an offering and then they had this hell of a bad week. The last week and a half, they had a hell of a bad week. The stock went down so much. They're one of the leading chip providers, semiconductors in the world.
NVIDIA and
right?
AMD are rivals.
And they
rival
run with
companies.
each other. So when NVDA had a problem, So did AMD, but they didn't really need to be shorted or anything, but they just did because it's a sympathy play and they are rivals. So when one person in the sector goes down, everyone goes down. We know that. So she found AMD. She's like, look at it. And it had a gap to fill to 85. Today, that stock was shorted because of what happened yesterday in afternoon. Yesterday, it went really well, right? It went well. It went to like $1.04 or something like that. And then today it got shorted all the way down. Yesterday got shorted all the way down. Those contracts, those 85 contracts, the $85 contracts went down to 32 cents. And guess what they went up to? $1.50 something in one day. Could have made a lot of money in that stock. So, those are the things that you want to watch. And whenever I see stuff like that, I'm going to put it out, and you guys can look at it and, make your decisions based on that. And if you guys have something that you want us to look at or get double eyes on, send it to us. We'll look at it. I love charting. I'll put levels up for you. It's easy for me to do that. So we could do that for you guys.
Oh, here, let me show you something Shar showed me, actually. You see how this chart is readable? Like, if you guys can read charts and you can read candles, this is a readable chart. Like, these candles are understandable. But if you just back up a little bit, look at this look. Hold on, let me get it normal looking. Look at this. This chart, you can read it, but you can't really. It looks like shit. If you change your candles from candle to Heikin Ashi, which is Japanese candles, it's readable. Suddenly you can see the action because Japanese candles start halfway up the previous candle and then they draw the full line instead of just giving you the price jumps with these little fucking notches. If you do this, suddenly you can see a cohesive chart. Tells you some kind of story of what's going on, and then maybe like fixes your brain for the moment so you can see if you really want this stock. You know what I mean? Based on the actual action. It's a small tip, and like you read them differently than a normal candle, but you can wrap your brain around a chart that's normally just ugly and unreadable just by swapping your candle style. Shar taught me that. I was like, what the fuck is that candle? He's like, oh, it's Japanese candles. Let me get some of those in my life. And look, what I find with them is, you see how the trend seems to change? It's sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, 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 buy, sell, buy. If you change to the Japanese candles, it takes a little more for the trend to change. So you can see here, when a trend starts, it's reading all sell candles here until right here. When you see your first green candle, you can bet there's going to be quite a few green candles afterwards, because that's just how they work. I'm no expert, but that's how they work in my experience using them. They just have longer indications of buy or sell. It's not always true, as you can see with this little baby sell candle, but more so than this. You know what I mean? It's not so choppy looking. I don't know. I like them. I think they're worth studying.
And then you also want to pay attention to the wicks. You want to make sure. Look at that shooting star. Go back.
Going.
That shooting star, that last green that we saw before that massive red. That was great. Yep, that was a great indication that the stock was going to collapse.
Yeah, if a candle has a wide spread, but it's not holding its gains.
Yes, that's a shooting star, and if it was red, then it would have been green.
Now go to a normal candle. What does that look like? Totally different, but you can still learn from this. You see resistance here and now heavy drop, but you can still both of these they indicate bearishness. You just have to know what candles you're looking at.
I like Japanese candles because it was one of the first books I read, The Japanese Candlestick. And it was recommended to me after I read the Douglas book, Trading in the Zone. So I read the first book I ever read was Trading for Dummies, because I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, I've never been in the stock market. I don't know nothing about stocks. I don't know nothing about trades. But I'm going to read this because, I'm sitting at home and I'm bored and I'm isolated. I can't hang out with my friends. I can't do shit. I can't sell real estate. So I'm going to read Trading for Dummies. And then I started meeting some people on Twitter. And one of the people I met was Steve Gomez. He's one of the founders of Trade Ideas, the platform. And he was like, Shar, read this book. Trading in the Zone, so you can get your mind right. So I started reading Trading in the Zone. It's the best book. I recommend every trader to read. If you're a trader and you haven't read Trading in the Zone, you're not really a trader. Period. That's the book everyone reads. So you got to read Trading in the Zone. Then the second book I read was Japanese Candlesticks. And it's amazing because like Stocks Only said, it's a huge difference between Japanese candlesticks and the regular ones, right? You could see the difference. It helps you, it guides you. So, those 3 books, you got to read them if you want to be a serious trader out here or just investing in the stock market daily. But yeah, so look at SPY. And this is another thing people do. They're day trading or whatever, they're momentum trading. So they look at these 1-minute charts. So let's open up the 1-minute chart on SPY.
This is SPY
for today. Can you take the boiler bands off so I can see it a little bit better? Okay, so here's the 1-minute chart. So zoom in a little bit through, let's go through the hours. So if you're looking at this 1-minute chart, okay, we started off today, we ran up to 404.66 or whatever, right? And then we started to sell off. And then look, we started going up, and then
all the way to
today.
Yeah, all the way to 404.45. Oh no, it's not today, but it doesn't have. What is it? What the fuck? Hold on a minute.
There you go.
That's today.
Yeah, the black is today. Okay.
Yes,
so,
this is the day. This is pre-market. This is after hours.
And this is the 1-minute chart?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's zoom in to the beginning of the day. So we started off at 404. We tried our best to try to get to 405, and we didn't. And then boom, we got killed, right? And then bam, that's like a on SPX, that was like a $10 to $15 move right there. Then we had a little bounce, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on? Are we? What are we doing?" So we made intraday highs, like around 11 o'clock, and then we started killing off again. Now, if you're watching the 1-minute and you're playing these candles, yeah, you can make money playing the 1-minute candles. But let's go to the 10-minute. Let's keep this. Wait, go back. Sorry. Keep that picture in your mind of what we just saw. Okay, look at this chart. This is the 1-minute chart for today on SPY. Now let's go to
it's 10-minute.
10-minute chart. Look at that.
That's what I use. 10 and 5-minute are my favorite charts.
So look at that. A whole different story.
Look at the regular candles.
Story. You're following people on Twitter and they're telling you to buy calls. They're doing this, that. What the fuck? Why would you buy calls? Go back to the 1-minute.
As soon as this 9 crosses under this 200, don't buy fucking calls.
Go back to
this
the
is the 1-minute.
Okay.
It's the 1-minute with regular candles.
No, please. I don't use regular. Okay. 1 minute. Here's the 1-minute. Look at this. All this chopping up and down, blah, blah. You're going to lose money. Why the fuck are you looking at this chart? Why? We are in a trend day today. Trend day. Now go to the 10-minute. You're freaking out. You're doing this and that. Now look at the 10-minute.
This is it.
Why are you in calls today? Why? Tell me why. Why did you buy calls today? Why? There should be no reason. If anything, you should have been buying your dips on your puts. Period. And this is the stuff that you can only teach yourself. No one else can teach this for you, because we're all trading and we can't be in here. I tried my best to give the best, the best that I can see from my eyes, But yeah, there you go. Look at that. And go back to Friday. Let's look at Friday. The same thing happened on Friday.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Good.
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna I'll probably try to get into puts, or I mean to options. So in regards to options, do you buy like the same day option, or do you put it like
Well, if you buy time, you could still trade it the same day. So the thing about ODTs is that it's higher risk, okay? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. So if you buy time, you're saving yourself, but you're not, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for you, and you're probably going to sell it off the same day anyway. Because who the hell is holding anything over, I didn't hold my AMD from yesterday. Hell no. Not after what happened yesterday after 12 noon. The market started selling off. I took my profits in the morning on AMD, but I was definitely keeping an eye on my AMD because those were the weekly ones that expire on Friday, the 10th, March 10th, and I still had the watch list on my watch list, the contracts on my watch list. So obviously, I'm going to buy the dip and buy low, sell high. It works the same way as stocks, right? But you could do the weeklies, you could do the monthlies, you could do, a couple of days out, whatever you want to do. But if you're playing one day and you're just now getting into options, you're going to lose. I lost a lot of money playing options 1 days. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was, because I was learning and I wanted cheaper. But I realized that if I go outdated, a little bit longer dated contracts, I'm saving myself, you know? So even if you bought AMD yesterday and you decided to hold it for a whole week, you would have been okay today because the stock bounced, right? So yesterday we broke 82, we went to 83, and then we sold off and we came right back down. So let's say you bought the calls at 82 and then you're down on your contracts today, the contracts went almost to 85. So you should be okay because you bought time. If you bought the 1 day contracts, yeah, you probably would have lost all your money. So it's always good to buy time. I always suggest that you buy time because it's going to save you. Once you get better at this, then yeah, you could play the 0 day, because you're going to sell it off anyway. I don't know anyone that's holding contracts, outdated, long dated contracts and not selling it when they're having profits, and you can get back into those contracts because if you put those contracts on your watch list, you're going to know the high and low of those contracts, and you're going to know the 52 high and the 52 low on the contracts, just like stock. So I suggest, if you're learning options, definitely go with the longer time frame, the longer contract, sorry. But yeah, let's look at SPY on Friday. This made me mad on Friday. So let's look at, that's Friday, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's the 10-minute. Look at the 10-minute. There should be no reason why anyone was buying puts. The 10-minute was all green.
like an
Every
escalator.
single candle was green. I said it's sexy. That's sexy to me. That's like awesome. Look at that. Not one red. You didn't have one red. You had one little red at the end of the day, whatever. Now go to the 1 minute on Friday.
What days are we on?
Today's Tuesday, so 3 days back.
Just forces me to go back to the right day, even though, see, and I have to scroll through the chart with the 1 minute. Okay, hold on. This is today. This is yesterday. This is Friday. Okay. Weird.
And this is the 10-minute.
This is the 1 minute.
This is the 1 minute. So look at that. Chop, chop, chop central. Stop looking at the smaller time frames. Stop it.
The lowest I go is 5 minutes.
You're going to freak out. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to FOMO. You're going to do all kinds of shit. Just stop. You use the longer time frames to get your direction. You use the longer time frames to see if there's a trend. If you see the 5 minute, the 10-minute, or the 30-minute all chopping and doing crazy shit, you might not want to trade that day. It's okay to not trade.
Use the shorter time frames to look for an entry in something you already know you want to be in based on the longer time frame.
And then you can use the 1 minute, the 3 minute to buy your dips. If you get, you take profits and you're like, oh, I'm going to continue watching this. because where you have a trend, I want to buy more or I want to add more to my contracts. You could do that. You could watch the 1 minute and you could buy the dips and whatever.
If you're watching the 1 minute and you see it dipping and you're not sure, is it a dip? Oh no, should I buy it? Look at the 10 minute. And then you'll know, okay, it's still in an uptrend. So this is all right.
And you could also use the 10 minute. There's a lot of people that love to be in and out of trades. They are literally trading 10-minute candles, and you could trade 10-minute candles. Especially with the Japanese candles, you could definitely do that. When it was choppy, that's what I used to do. I got really good at scalping. I was watching the 10-minute charts. I was getting in and out. Soon as I saw a little red forming, I'm out. So that's some good tips right there. That that you only learn from learning. What else? What else do you guys want to talk about?
What are you guys playing for tomorrow? Any ideas?
So I think that tomorrow he has his hearing number 2 with the Senate Finance Committee. I do see us probably testing 395 levels. And it just depends on what he says tomorrow. He might go home today and he might have his meeting with the Fed people, and they're all talking about they're all saying, whatever happened today, and they see that SPY, went down, they might try to pump this market back up by saying whatever tomorrow. This is all politically charged, I believe. You have election season coming up. I do believe that we're going to have a massive bull run by the end of this year. I know I've been calling for SPY 240 levels. I don't think that we're out of the woods yet. I don't think we're going to go to 240 now because the market has rebounded quite significantly since last year's lows, especially like since December, November. We were brutal. It was brutal. Like SPY went to 340 and we did come back. So the market corrected itself, 20 to 30% already. So that's really a good sign. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think that the feds are going to work with Biden. They're going to, they're going to try their best to bring down this inflation by hiking the rates again. And by the time he's ready to run, and there's going to be it's going to be a presidential run, they're going to say that he saved the economy from going into a recession. And that's just my opinion. And I think that's going to be what he's going to run on next year. So we know historically that SPY is always bullish political years. We saw that in 2020, right? So I do think that we will be having a massive correction. There's trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines waiting to be dumped back in. Today, 1.9 billion came out, and tomorrow another 1.9 billion might come out, or 2 billion might go in. We don't know. And this is why it's important to watch the news while you're trading. If you're doing these like EFTs like I am, keep the C-SPAN on to see what the hell they're questioning. It was really funny today. Warren, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren was going off on Jay Powell. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. But you gotta pay attention. And if you don't want to trade, you still need to pay attention, because you're going to want to trade the next day or later this week, and you want to analyze all this stuff for yourself. And you want to see what people are saying out here, especially these, financial analysis people. And you want to pay attention because you want to make money. This is the greatest time to make money. You make money in volatility. If this was a boring market, you wouldn't make money. You would just sit there like, ugh, boring. Volatility is where you're going to make money. We know that from 2020. It was volatile. But guess what? A lot of money was made. A lot of people became multimillionaires in 2020.
If you were trading these last 3 days and you didn't make any money, you got to reevaluate what you're doing. Because it was easy to make money the last 3 days. Besides today, obviously, you should have pulled out or whatever. But I mean,
today was a great day to short. You got to learn. I've been screaming since last year. You guys know this. We did these videos, these training sessions almost every single Tuesday last year, and I was screaming it since like January, February. I'm like, learn shorting. It's coming. We're coming out of this bull run that we've had for the last 2 years. 2020, 2021 was massive bull runs. And I was like, we're coming out of it. 2022, it does not look good. Jen can testify to this. I sat there and screamed and screamed and screamed. Last summer, I started learning options. I was like, I got to learn this. And I did it silently. I learned options. I was learning shorting. I was like, okay, I want to learn this stuff because you got to figure out ways. There's different ways to make money in this market. There's a lot of different ways. And you have to learn, and you have to study, and you have to show up, and that's it. And if this is your part-time job, it's not part-time. You gotta think of it as a full-time. You have 2 full-time jobs now. You're a trader, and you have your other gig, and you got to figure it out. And but yeah, you make a lot of money in volatility, whether it's a bull market, bear market. You're going to make money. This is when you're going to make money. So pay attention, learn from this stuff. It's good stuff. We're all here to help. And we'll continue to do these trainings every week if we can. And I'll try my best to do them every week. I did talk to Angel Manoz today. He is the founder of Beacon Beam. Mass Luminosity is the parent company that he runs. I asked him to come and speak with us and be our special guest and share with us how he got to where he is in life and share with us his best practices. So I'm going to set that up for April. So he will come to RST and share his insight. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's the godfather of esports. He created it in 1995, sold it off in 2008, I believe. And if he still held on to esports, I believe that he would have been rich like Elon Musk. But you create something, you send it off, and now he created Beacon and Beam. Beam is going to be a competitor with Twitch and Discord, and Beacon is already making a lot of heads turning. They're going after Zoom. It's going to be a video conferencing platform, and it's going to be massive. So pay attention to that, and we'll invite him to come in April to talk to RST. And then what else? Stocks Only. What else we got going on? Stocks Only is getting into pizza. So, we want recipes and stuff. So make sure you tell us. Pizza. It looks like you get really good with the pizza.
I've always wanted to make pizza, and I just recently was like, you know what? I'm going to import some Italian ingredients and do this the fucking right way. So here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's find your passion, guys. It might be pizza. It might be makeup. It might be, whatever it is.
I have three passions: video games, stocks, and pizza.
There you go. Love it. And pursue it. You guys will
every
make
day.
It.
Every day, I'm never bored. I always got something to do.
All right, let's roll the last video. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. And let's continue to be inspirational, motivational, and continue to help others, because that's what we're about. Love you guys.
Rolling.
I don't regard what I do as the most important thing in the world at all, but it's right for me. I mean, I happen to be wired in a certain way that what I do works. Well, I can certainly define happiness, because that's what I am. I get to do what I like to do every single day of the year. I get to do it with people I like. Other than I tap dance to work, and it doesn't diminish. It's tremendous fun. So success is getting what you want, and happiness is wanting what you get. Well, I don't know which one applies in this case, but I do know that I wouldn't be doing anything else. I mean, I do advise you, when you go out to work, go to work for an organization that you admire, people you admire, because it'll turn you on. To make money they didn't have and didn't need, they risked what they did have and did need. And that's foolish. That is just plain foolish. If you risk something that is important to you for something that is unimportant to you, it just does not make any sense. I don't care whether the odds are 100 to 1 that you succeed or 1,000 to 1 that you succeed. Defining your circle of competence is the most important aspect of investing. It's not how important, how large your circle is. You don't have to be an expert on everything. But knowing where the perimeter of that circle of what you know and what you don't know is, and staying inside of it, is all important. It really gets into behaving in a rational manner and not getting in your own way. As I say, everybody here has the ability absolutely to do anything I do and much beyond. And some of you will and some of you won't. The ones that won't, it'll be because you get in your own way. It won't because the world doesn't allow you to. It will be because you don't allow yourself to. It's not necessary to have huge amounts of money in order to enjoy yourself. I enjoyed myself when I had my $10,000, and I live in the same house that I lived in when I was making it. When I had about that, I bought it 41 years ago. I liked the house then. I like the house now.
Good night, you guys.
Good night, everyone. See y'all tomorrow morning, bright and early.
See you tomorrow.
Let's get gas. Bye.
Bye.
The first step